Hello and welcome to this special edition of News 5 after the presidential debate. I'm Allison Zimmerman.
And I'm Brett Forrest. While the presidential election is certainly the big story nationally, here at home, you'll have a lot more to decide on.
For the next half hour, we're breaking down key races, taking a look at the state of our politics in Colorado, and walking you through some of the big issues.
First, let's talk about the ballot. It's going to be long. El Paso County Clerk and Recorder Steve Schleicher warned county commissioners this summer about the length of November's ballot. His office is anticipating it will be a 3-card ballot, and there's a real concern for him with voter fatigue. Good news is Coloradans do have a few weeks to fill out their ballot, as we are primarily a mail ballot state.
What I'm going to recommend is, guys, when people say, vote the ballot from the top down, I'm going to be, sharing with folks, vote it from the bottom up. Start from the bottom, do your research, and work your way up.
And another reason the ballot is so long, there is a new requirement to put economic impact statements on tax questions on the ballot.
So what all are you going to find on this massive ballot? Well, we're going to give you a crash course here. Obviously, the top of your ballot, you're going to find the presidential race, and then you'll be deciding on who you want to represent you in the nation's capital in the U.S. House.
Now, other offices include CU Regent at Large. This person will shape decisions for the University of Colorado system, and you may also have a CU Regent election specific to where you live. Many people will also be deciding on a state senator to head to the Capitol in Denver, and everyone will be deciding on a state House representative.
County commissioner seats will vary depending on where you live as well, and you'll be deciding on your district attorney too. But the big chunk of your ballot is going to be this. 14 statewide ballot questions. In fact, so many questions, we have to put them on 2 slides here. Everything ranging from abortion rights to keeping more tax dollars from sports betting.
And here in southern Colorado, our congressional races have been getting a lot of attention. District 5, which is made up of nearly all of El Paso County, is an open seat for the first time in nearly 20 years. Congressman Doug Lamborn announced his retirement in January. Republican Jeff Crank hoping to get the job. He previously ran against Lamborn in 2006 and 2008. Crank is a former legislative aide to Congressman Joel Heffley, who held the seat before Lamborn. He's also a podcast host and worked for Americans for Prosperity, an organization created by major political donors, the Koch brothers. Also on the ballot, Democratic candidate River Gasson. She won June's primary in a close race, but the political newcomer looking to flip the district blue. The seat, though, has never been held by a Democrat. Gasson is a UCCS professor and also holds degrees in physics, economics, and energy sciences.
News 5 will be hearing from both of these candidates next month as we co-host a debate with the Gazette.
Allison and I will be moderating the debate, and it will be live right here on News 5 on October 15th. And one of the most expensive congressional races across the country, right here in southern Colorado, that's District 3, which includes most of the Western Slope, and Pueblo County, is seeing a lot of money.
That's because of Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. She previously held the seat and announced at the end of 2023 she would be moving into a safer Republican district, Congressional District 4. Her Democratic challenger in 2022, former Aspen City Councilman Adam Frisch, lost by about 500 votes. He's running again in hopes of flipping the seat. He received millions of dollars in donations prior to Boebert switching districts. Frisch will run against Republican attorney Jeff Hurd from Grand Junction. But a lot of eyes are still on Boebert, who won the Republican nomination for District 4 in June amongst 5 other challengers. She's facing Democrat Tricia Calvareese. The two went head-to-head in a debate last week in Douglas County. Our partners at Denver 7 caught up with both candidates after the debate.
This was the beginning of what I think is a job interview for all of our constituents. So I am calling on her to debate on TV at least twice.
Apparently she's feeling that she didn't do very well if she's already looking for the second.
As of now, there are no other scheduled debates between Boebert and Calvareese.
One of the most impactful ballot initiatives all Colorado voters will see is the open primary and ranked choice voting measure, and it would overhaul how we conduct elections in the state. So how would all this even look and work in practice? Right now in Colorado, we have semi-open primaries. If you're unaffiliated, you can vote in either the Republican or Democratic primary. Under an open primary system, all candidates would appear on one ballot. It doesn't matter if you're unaffiliated or not, everyone would vote on the same ballot. And then under the ranked choice voting system, the top 4 vote getters would move on to the general election in November. So yes, theoretically, that could mean 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats, or 4 non-major party candidates advance. just depends on the will of the voters. Now, once the general election comes, you can rank the candidates from 1 to 4. Once the ballots are tallied, if nobody has a majority of the votes, that's 50% plus 1, then they are retabulated. The bottom vote getter is eliminated. If you picked them as your top choice, then your second place pick is then counted. And this cycle continues until there is a majority winner. It could mean only one tabulation. It could mean multiple. And no, you don't have to rank all 4 candidates, but then your vote could be thrown out if your top choice is eliminated. Opponents say this hurts the parties, major and minor, and some fear they'd have to move too far to the center to appeal to voters and make the ballot. But it's those very same reasons that supporters say this overhaul is needed.
Colorado has changed in the last 10 years. The electorate has changed. We went from a third in the electorate to now nearly 50% of the electorate are unaffiliated voters.
Dick Wadhams is the former chair of the Colorado Republican Party. He says he's still a partisan Republican, but supports the ranked choice voting and open primary ballot measure, which many say would lessen the power and influence of the two major party system.
I think it will rejuvenate the Republican Party. Frankly, it will rejuvenate the Democratic Party because it will force candidates to respond to this new reality of an open primary.
But not all Republicans agree with him. In the ongoing leadership battle within the Colorado GOP, Dave Williams and his faction are against the measure. Meanwhile, Eli Bremer, the interim chair claiming he now runs the party, is more cautious.
I'll let people make their judgment on that unless it's something that the committee decides as a body that they want to support or oppose.
And there are minor and third parties against the proposal as well, like the Green Party, which supports ranked choice, but not open primaries, claiming they'll be locked out of the primary ballot by corporate candidates.
What you're going to find is those who have access to those resources and those who are interested in protecting their corporate interests, they're going to fund the candidates that best align with them.
But proponents like Dick Wadhams disagree.
If they can come up with a message that a lot of Coloradans can rally around, they'll be fine.
For the weekend, the Colorado Democratic Party voted in opposition of this measure. Other states like Nevada and Arizona will also be voting on similar initiatives this election. Ahead on this special edition of News 5, a look at the state of the political parties in Colorado as Republicans fight for leadership and Democrats fight for support in El Paso County. Welcome back to this special edition of News 5. The state of the Republican and Democratic parties in Colorado are changing. And let's start with the Republican Party. We've seen a lot of controversy when it comes to party leadership this year alone, and our viewers have noticed. Take a look at what News 5 viewer William Solani wrote into our newsroom about the party a little over a week ago. He asked, quote, "Why is there so much infighting within the party here in state? How did it start, and will they ever get their act together?" With just a little over 8 weeks until Election Day, the Colorado Republican Party remains divided, with different factions claiming different leaders.
Dave Williams or Eli Bremer, both claiming they're the legitimate chair of the Colorado Republican Party, neither showing signs of stepping down.
It's sort of like having squatters in the office. We're going to get control of the emails. We're going to get control of the bank accounts. We're going to get control of the financial reporting.
That's Eli Bremer. He was elected as the interim chair of the Colorado Republican Party during an August meeting, ousting controversial chair Dave Williams. The problem, though, is that Williams called that meeting illegitimate and held his own a week later, where he claimed he's still in charge. And you might have guessed it, but Bremer then called that meeting illegitimate.
It won't be recognized as a legal meeting. They cannot conduct business there. We've had multiple attorneys weigh in on that.
A chorus of Colorado Republicans has been growing louder through the year to replace Dave Williams as party leader for multiple reasons, including a run for Congress in the 5th Congressional District without giving up his leadership position, using party resources to promote his campaign, which ultimately failed. Also choosing to endorse candidates before the primary, the majority of whom lost, and in June, sending hateful anti-LGBTQ emails on behalf of the party.
The leadership is the biggest problem right now.
In the end, this fight is expected to be settled in court or by the Republican National Committee.
I did reach out to Dave Williams multiple times asking for a sit-down interview like the one I did with Eli Bremer, but Williams did not respond.
Democrats currently hold a supermajority in the state House and a near supermajority in the state Senate. And all statewide offices are currently held by Democrats in Colorado. Even with El Paso County growing, Republicans still hold most offices here. I caught up with some local Democratic leaders to learn where they see the state of the party going.
So El Paso County Democrats, I am pleading with you. I am pleading with you, do not sleep.
In a ballroom at a hotel in southwest Colorado Springs, local Democrats are feeling optimistic about November.
Folks are so excited. It's the momentum that we've seen with candidates like Barack Obama.
This is the biggest fundraiser for the party, rubbing elbows with elected officials and political hopefuls on the ballot in November.
By the way, the El Paso County Democrats are the most important Democrats in the state of Colorado.
Statewide, Democrats have dominated in Colorado lately, but El Paso County is considered a Republican stronghold, with Republicans holding all countywide offices and most state legislative seats. But Democrats see an opportunity for them to make gains here come November.
El Paso County is changing. It's becoming younger. It's becoming more diverse.
John Mickus is a former chair of the county party. He recognizes the makeup of the electorate is largely unaffiliated.
Throughout Colorado, there is, in all counties, a very, very high number of unaffiliated voters. It's part of the landscape in Colorado. And what that means is that the political parties have to work harder.
As far as El Paso County, I think people count us out, but every election we're gaining more and more ground.
Misha Smith is the current chair. She points to 2020 as part of the reason Democrats see a path to victory. In 2020, President Donald Trump won El Paso County, but not by as many votes as he did in 2016.
We're going to see that, I think, maintained here. I think a lot of folks are saying no to Donald Trump.
So where do Democrats feel they can make the most gains? They're looking closely at the county commission seats open in El Paso County. Common theme I heard over the weekend is they feel it's the first time in about 50 years they feel a Democrat could be elected to the Board of County Commissioners.
And coming up on this special edition of News 5, we're looking at initiatives you'll see on your ballot if you live in Colorado Springs and how two directly conflict with each other. Stay with us.
Welcome back. The questions on your November ballot are not limited to the 14 statewide measures.
That's right. If you live in Colorado Springs, your ballot will have 3 additional measures to weigh in on. 2 of those are dueling and conflicting initiatives for recreational cannabis to be sold in city limits. One would ban it and the other would allow it. Now, the first is coming through from City Council. They referred to the ballot a change to the city charter that would outright ban the sale of recreational marijuana in Colorado Springs. The city councilor behind this move says there are multiple reasons behind her thinking.
This amendment is about protecting our children, the most vulnerable of our community, from the significant risks associated with marijuana use that we know of. Moreover, it is also about securing the military presence in our community.
Now, the second one is a citizen effort that gathered enough signatures to make the ballot. If you vote for this one and it passes, it allows recreational cannabis shops to open, but only in current medical marijuana dispensaries.
We feel pretty confident in our message. I mean, it is a blatant attempt by the city council to confuse voters by throwing their ban on the ballot.
Now, revenues from recreational marijuana taxes are already codified into law, going to PTSD treatments for veterans, mental health services, and public safety programs. The group estimates about $10 to $15 million a year in taxes for these services if that citizen initiative is approved. And last time rec cannabis was on the ballot 2 years ago, voters shot it down 54 to 46. And if both were somehow to pass, the charter amendment would trump the citizen initiative, but courts could also weigh in. And I do want to point out cannabis in the process of being moved from a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 substance on the federal level, meaning it's going to be considered less severe.
And the other measure voters will weigh in on is an extension of 2C for road improvements.
Because here's the thing about good roads, they're the staple of a great city. They're what parents use to drive their kids to school or pick them up after school. Good roads are what our firefighters use responding to a fire, or police officers responding to a call.
The mayor stresses if this passes again, it is not a tax increase, but an extension of what is already in place. The 2C website lists all the roads that have already been improved or scheduled to be worked on if you want to check that out for yourself.
It used to be further rec, but I feel like it's changing.
Still to come on this special edition of News 5, we're hearing from voters belonging to the largest political party in the state, the unaffiliated, how they feel about the political makeup here at home.
Colorado's largest voting bloc is unaffiliated voters, even with areas like El Paso County, which is considered a Republican stronghold.
Ahead of the primary election in June, photojournalist Adam Napick and I went around and spoke to unaffiliated voters about where they feel Colorado Springs fits into our state's political landscape. All of us are unique, from what we enjoy to the places we live, our life experiences, and the way we think. And in El Paso County, and really Colorado as a whole, unaffiliated voters are the largest voting bloc, meaning they do not belong to a major or even minor party. We wanted to know, with Colorado Springs growing and even getting national attention for the state of our politics here, what makes unaffiliated voters so unique? Are you an unaffiliated voter? Are you an unaffiliated voter by chance? I smiled and waved. Sad day. And waited. I didn't even get a wave from that guy.
Is it hurting your feelings?
A little bit. There's a speed bump there. I thought the last guy was just slowing down to talk. And then people started talking. You an unaffiliated voter?
Yes.
Awesome. Can we chat with you? Place the star on where you think Colorado Springs aligns politically.
No earthly idea, but I guess I'll just take a guess. There.
There?
Okay.
Why'd you put there?
Because I'm hoping it's a little bit more toward this side than that, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
And so I'm an optimist. That's what I'll go for.
How long have you lived in Colorado Springs?
I've lived in Colorado Springs for 22 years.
Okay. Do you feel that it's changing politically at all?
Maybe this much. Not a whole lot. But I do think it's changing a little bit here and there, depending on the issues, depending on who the different candidates might be. But yeah, a little tiny bit maybe. It's really important for everyone to vote because this is a right that comes with our country. And whether you agree with one party or the other party, it doesn't matter as long as you actually get out and vote.
Are you an unaffiliated voter? No, not today. Whatever that means.
I'm independent.
You are. Could you talk to us?
Sure.
Over here? You think Colorado Springs is to the left. How come?
Well, I just think with all the transient people moving in that it just tends to get more and more like that.
Yeah.
I think with in years past with the religious organizations and such, it used to be a lot more right.
As an unaffiliated voter, which ballot are you voting on for this primary?
Republican.
Okay, how come?
I just believe in those ideals that they represent.
Is this you? Unaffiliated voter?
I'm an unaffiliated voter.
Can I talk to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that'd be great. Show me where you think Colorado Springs lands politically. Right there.
Yes.
Why'd you pick that?
Oh, because it used to be further red, but I feel like it's changing.
Which party's ballot did you fill out for this election?
I filled out the red one.
How come?
Because those are most of the candidates that are going to get elected. And even though I may not necessarily vote for them in the general election, I wanted to have some influence over who was running from that party in the general election. That's exactly why we have open primaries.
Yeah.
Because you know, most of the time when you're in the general election, it's obvious who's going to win. So your influence is at the primary level, and not very many people vote, so your votes count more.
And with those open primaries, unaffiliated voters really can have an influence on our local races, as we've seen play out here in El Paso County.
Absolutely. And it's not just in Colorado. I've worked in Nevada, same thing happening there.
Yes.
Just independents, unaffiliated, really kind of taking the plurality or majority of votes.
And I think a lot of states are looking and seeing that people are not affiliating with parties and figuring out how do they tap into such a large voter base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on how this all plays out.
Now, for more election stories and everything you need to know leading up to the general election, head to our America Votes page on our website.
And head to KOAA.com/AmericaVotes, or you can just scan the QR code on your screen and click on America Votes.
Thanks so much for joining us for this special edition of News 5.